You are listening to the Disney Dream Girls, an unofficial Disney Theme Parks podcast. And this is show number 443 for Sunday the 19th of February 2023.
Where dreams begin.
Hello and welcome to this week's Disney Dream Girls. My name is Michelle Young and together with my jolly good chum Jane Phipps, we are your guides to the place where dreams begin. Hello there, Janie.
Hello there, Michelle, and how are we doing this fine week?
It's a week of non-education, so whoop whoop.
Michelle's having some relaxed time, aren't you?
Much needed, if I personally ask, because last week I was poorly.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
So chill out and have some me time for proper. No worky.
Oh, I've been doing worky, and I've still got cadets to get involved too with this, that and the other, and I've got some work to do for school, and obviously the biggest amount of work is planning myself my holidays.
Well, and that should be the most important piece of work as well, shouldn't it, really?
Yeah, because as the show's released, it'll be under 40 days. Whoop, whoop.
Which is kind of scary because that means, because I'm using that as my little barometer guide for when Simon and I go to Star Wars Celebration, because we'll be in London celebrating Star Wars as you'll be in warmer, sunnier climes celebrating all things Disney.
Yeah. So it will be very interesting to see the different posts we're going to share with the podcast family.
Very different.
Completely. Well, we have got a fun-packed show ahead for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about the rodeo, roundup, rodeo, whichever way around you want it, barbecue, over at Hollywood Studios. We have got Flower and Garden, a little bit of chat about that. I want to share a phone call I had with a Disney cast member, and we are going to kick off the show in true Disney Dream Girls fashion with some On This Day in Disney History.
Ooh.
I did some research, Janie.
Did you know? What did you find out, Michelle?
Well, I was at the hairdresser's this morning because, you know, the only time I can go to the hairdresser's, because bless her, she stopped working weekends, is now basically school holidays. So I was in for the full overhaul this morning. So I was putting the show notes together and I went down several rabbit holes.
As you do with Disney, yeah.
Absolutely. And the first piece of news is connected to a rabbit.
Rather appropriately.
Indeed, 20th of February 1928, Disney's Oswald the Lucky Rabbit silent cartoon Africa Before Dark, in which Oswald is a big game hunter, was released, directed by Walt Disney and animated by Ub Iwerks.
Because we're starting to see quite a lot of Oswald merch appearing in recognition of the Disney 100 as well, aren't we?
Can I just say, I need that shirt. The button-up shirt. I can just see myself rocking that at the moment with a nice pair of shorts on the holiday with my shades, looking cool.
Very cool.
Next one, on the 20th of February, again, 1986. Linking to 1952, WED Enterprises was first created December 1952 to oversee the design of Disneyland, and it was actually renamed on this day, 20th of February 1986, to Walt Disney Imagineering. And the word Imagineering is what you would call a push together, an amalgamation, a sort of collision of words between imagination and engineering, and it was initially coined by Richard F. Saylor in an article entitled Brainstorming is Imagination Engineering, and it was written for the National Carbon Company Management Magazine in 1957, and this term was then adapted and used by Disney, so it wasn't a Disney thing that came together.
I did not know that. And actually that kind of makes more sense. And I think I've mentioned this before, but Simon's actual job title, bear in mind he's a video games designer, programmer, artist, is actually now Imagineer.
Oh.
Which kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because he's putting images together, he's having to come up with storylines, and he's having to engineer it into a program. So, yeah.
Shame it doesn't come along with all the Disney perks.
Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. The next one is a tribute to my favourite Christmas film,
Oh, okay.
Contentious Christmas film.
Oh, here we go.
21st of February 1946, actor, director, an amazing, amazing talent. Alan Rickman was born in Hammersmith, London, who sadly also passed away on the 14th of January 2016 after a very quiet and a very personal battle with pancreatic cancer.
Very sad.
His touchstone and Disney credits include things such as The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Alice in Wonderland and Alice Through the Looking Glass. And then most of us know him through other roles that have touched our heart in many different ways. For example, Professor Severus Snape in the Harry Potter films.
Yeah.
Some people will never forgive him for his role of Harry and his flirtation with Mia, which ultimately led to the breaking of heart of his wife, Karen, played by the wonderful Emma Thompson. Also links to my favourite ever quote from a film from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
All right, okay.
So Guy of Gisborne turns to him and says, "Why a spoon, cousin? Why not an axe?" when talking about cutting out somebody's heart with a spoon.
Okay.
So, as his role of Sheriff, George of Nottingham, he says, "Because it's dull, you twit. It will hurt more." So, yeah. And then, of course, as I alluded at the beginning, his ultimate role as the terrorist, hostage taker, and ultimate, spoiler alert, plunging to the grounds in front of the Nakatomi Tower of Hans Gruber, R.I.P.
Yeah. I mean, I might disagree with you about it being a Christmas film, but it is a good little romp.
It's a good film, Jane.
Oh, yeah. Just not a Christmas one.
I've got some Star Wars news.
Have you now?
And it's from where I live, or virtually near where I live, a little old place in Keighley.
Okay, enlighten me.
It was reported in the Keighley News, and it's gone worldwide.
Has it?
It has. So, this couple bought this house
Right.
25 odd years ago, and it was a terraced house.
Mm-hmm.
And they were clearing out their attic. It was the first time they'd actually been in their attic. And they found a lot of things that they thought, oh, I've no idea what this is. And it was presented to Rydale Auctioneers, which are based in Kirby Moorside in North Yorkshire.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, it turned out that they'd acquired these pieces from the one and only home of the dude, Peter Mayhew, who paid...
Chewbacca.
Yeah, he actually lived in this house in Keighley.
Oh my goodness.
And when the family moved from this property, he was unable to get some of these things from his attic. So they were just left there and basically forgotten.
Oh my gosh.
And this auction went live and there were people around the globe that said, "Oh my word, have you seen what's up for auction?" And it's some of the most exclusive articles and pieces and memories that he'd collected as his time playing this iconic Star Wars figure. And in the end, what happened was the Mayhew Foundation got in touch with the auctioneers, and basically all of the items were then donated to the Mayhew Foundation so that Star Wars fans throughout the world could enjoy these for perpetuity.
Oh, that's lovely.
So that was really, really nice. And obviously the people who lived there, probably may not have been Star Wars fans and just thought, oh, I've got a load of stuff here. Let's just, pass them all on and dispatch them. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and as somebody who's been clearing out a house these past few months, my old adage is that there'll be things in old houses that may not mean or float one's boat, shall we say, but there'll always be somebody out there that will appreciate them. So it's always worth just putting the feelers out, and, whether it's via your socials or your eBays or whatever, because I'd much rather things go to homes where they'll be appreciated by somebody who's got a genuine interest in things. So I bet they were in the same situation. We've got stuff, what do we do with it? Let's find a proper home for them. So, well, good on them for doing that.
Yeah, I imagine in years to come, my children will find a mass of weird and wonderful Disney collectibles that they will so wish to dispose of, like all my popcorn buckets, all of my little garbage cans, and my vinylmations, my ears, and all of this Disney malarkey that they must just say, well, I'll keep 1 or 2 pieces to remember me of Mum, but I don't want this crap.
I'm just thinking about all your mugs, Michelle.
I know. I've already jokingly said to the kids, right, which one of you wants to inherit the Starbucks mugs? Nobody took me up on it.
Did they not, Michelle?
No.
Oh, I am surprised.
None at all.
You think there might be one that, would be a close to home one that they might want, if only one,
Yeah. Moving on. Last week we were talking a little bit about housekeeping.
Yes.
We have done our online check-in for our room at Pop Century.
Oh, okay.
And this is what it says. When you stay at a Disney Resort hotel, you can rest easy knowing that your room has always been thoroughly cleaned prior to your arrival. And during your stay, you can enjoy the following options.
Oh, go on.
Light cleaning service every other day. This will include removal of trash and used towels, replenishment of towels and amenities throughout the room and bathroom, wiping and cleaning of the vanity and counter services, vacuuming if needed. Well, bearing in mind I'm staying in Pop Century and it's all that wooden vinyl type flooring, I ain't seen a Hoover going round there. Or you can decline every other day light cleaning service.
Oh, okay.
So basically, we ain't getting our beds made every day. And there is nothing in there that says they are making my bed.
Because I thought there was a lot of rooms and comments going around that housekeeping was returning. I know they said it was going to return in full to the deluxe, but I got the impression that it was returning in full across the whole resort. So obviously I've misinterpreted that then.
That's what's on the booking. So we shall see if that gets updated and if things change. Although, in a very Disney-esque style, I am expecting little bluebirds to fly into my room and each one of them get a corner of the sheet and float and levitate my sheets back into position to make my bed for me.
Well, that's how it's done, isn't it?
It is absolutely Snow White style.
Of course. Expect nothing less.
Completely. So I just thought I'd mention that because I know Kat and Lewis mentioned on Dis Down Under about housekeeping coming back every day, and it's like, well, that's not what my reservation says.
Yes, I say interesting to say whether that's going to get updated between now and when you actually go, Shell, because I was under the impression as well that it was reverting back to every day, which I know we've been banging on about for a while, haven't we? So yeah, fingers crossed it is. I mean, at least it's up front on your booking what choices you've got. So I suppose at least you do know going in what it's going to be.
Absolutely. Something else I did the other day when I was doing a little bit of work, tweaking the old spreadsheet as you do when you're planning a Disney holiday, I had a bit of a question because I'm travelling with 2 other people from 2 other countries. So there's literally 3 of us arriving from different corners of the world, descending on Pop Century at a different time. And as we've done the online check-in, I suddenly thought, well, how do I get into the room if they've already checked in and they're in the theme park? So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to ring up Disney. And I had the most delightful, nearly 40-minute conversation with a Disney cast member called Crystal. And she was so amazing. And she was giving me tips. I thought, hang on a minute, did Disney know you're telling me these tips? Because these are tips that really sort of dodge the system and things like that. And, we were talking about getting from the airport to the resort. And her strategy that she suggested to me was I get an Uber from MCO to Pop Century, throw my bag literally at Bell Services, get back in the same Uber and go to the Contemporary, be dropped off at the Contemporary and then walk into Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, very sensible.
That was actually recommended by a cast member. Now, we all do it, but I didn't realise that cast members were going to talk about that.
Well, I suppose it depends. If you want good customer service, that does come under the banner of good customer service, does it not?
Oh, she was absolutely fantastic. Really put my mind at ease. We talked about so many things, lots of top little secrets like that. She was sort of saying, oh, well, have you thought about doing it this way? And, oh, yeah, this yeah. So kudos Disney for having amazing cast members, which is something that we know about anyway.
Well done them.
Right, Jane. Cost for barbecue, rodeo, roundup, rodeo, barbecue, Toy Story, table service, family service. Yes.
Do we think they need to change the name?
I'm confused already and I've not even been there.
Well, it is kind of a lot of alliteration going on, and yeah, a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? In its own right.
And it's knowing whether to be rodeo or roundup. Because for me, roundup, rodeo, roundup would make more sense. But hey, who am I? I'm just a consumer who'll give Disney the money, whatever it's called.
Yeah, and what's the bet? And it's going to get shortened to something like, are we going to Woody's Barbecue?
Possibly so. We did a little bit of a poll on our Disney Dream Girls podcast family podcast page to ask what would our listeners pay for this set menu, because from what we've gathered, they've issued pictures and menus and things. It's family style. These are what you're going to get, and bookings are available from the 21st of February, and your first booking is the 23rd of March. So obviously the 21st of February I will be there trying to get my reservation for the beginning of April. And I thought, I tell you what, I wonder how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, it's that those. I mean, we did a little bit of chat about it, didn't we, the other week? And I think we're both in agreement that the food offerings looked. I think we're both quite pleasantly surprised with them. I thought that there was quite a lot of stuff on there that both of us were intrigued by and thought we would partake of. But alas, no pricing.
Yeah, I must admit though, when I was reading the website. And, you know, because I've had this eye issue and I've not been reading things right.
Oh, goodness me. Go on. Yeah.
It says on the read-up, you can also view a scene of Bo Peep and her sheep poised to perform in the rodeo. What I read it...
No, please don't tell me.
I read it as, and Bo Peep and her sheep are roasted, ready for consumption.
That will be taking things a little bit too far. That's going down a very dark avenue that I don't think Disney want to go down.
Yeah, well, come on, guys. So, the meal pricing. It says for lunch, it's anywhere between $35 to $59.99 per adult, and then the same price point for dinner. Now, as far as we're aware so far, the menu is the same for both lunch and dinner, so it would make sense that the price is going to be the same unless they do a two-tier pricing. But then if you're doing a two-tier pricing, does that mean the menu changes for the evening?
Well, I'm going to say, if the menu's the same, then you can't really charge more just because it's a different time of day if you're not getting anything extra for your extras.
Well, if you think back to when I visited Cape May Cafe for the breakfast,
yes.
I thought it was an absolute steal, just under $30. But when the characters are coming back, it'll go back up to $45, nearly $50 for that breakfast because of the addition of the characters.
Exactly, and that's what you're paying your extra for, isn't it?
All the thing I can think of that would maybe make the dinner more expensive is, one, is there more food?
Yeah, or different choice of food, yeah.
You know, they may stick in some steak rather than lunchtime it's sausage and ribs. Or would they be having characters at the dinner to make it a more attractive deal and then make it more towards that $59.99 price point?
Well, that's the only way I could think of that they would be able to get away with charging that.
Or is it just going to change it in seasonality? So, for example, if you want to go on a busy day, like July the 4th, yeah, you're going to be looking at $59.99. But if you go in on a Tuesday during January, yeah, it's going to be $35.
Interesting if they did do that. I think the logical way to go would be to charge more for, say, the dinner if there's going to add characters to it.
I had a little bit of a look around on similar offerings. So, for example, you've got Liberty Tree Tavern over in the Magic Kingdom, and they've got the exact same price point for both lunch and dinner, stating it's $35 to $59.99.
Okay.
So, and the only difference is with lunch, it finishes at 5 to 3, and then your dinner menu kicks in at 3 o'clock. But it's the same menu.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's a very similar offering where you start with your salads and then you have your family style meal and then you have your dessert. I think the dessert's possibly at the Rodeo Roundup Rodeo Barbecue and possibly a little bit more, still desserts that could be made in advance, but a little bit more aspirationally exciting than the ooey gooey, toffee, cakey and vanilla thing.
Yeah, a little bit more bespoke, perhaps. But yeah. It's going to be interesting, though. I think, so we did this little poll, or you did this little poll over on the podcast family page, and I think the majority of people were happier paying something towards the lower end of that price range.
Yeah, I think the most popular price point people were saying they were comfortable with was around about $35 to $40. Some people sort of said 40 to 45, you know, because you are getting a substantial meal. Yeah. And when you compare the fact that most burgers, sodas and cupcakes will now cost you around about $20 to $25.
Yeah.
The extra fat actually having a much more substantial meal than your burger and fry meals.
Yeah, it kind of makes it decent value, actually, doesn't it? If that's where if that is where they're going to price point it.
True. So we shall see in next week, and whether Michelle gets a reservation or not.
Fingers crossed for you, Michelle.
I really hope I do get one. I have about a week of dining opportunities, but obviously it makes it very challenging to do the lunch unless it's on a day that I'm booked to do Hollywood Studios, because you can't park up until after 2:00.
Of course, yes, and obviously your most of your days starting the Magic Kingdom to try and snag that Tron
or Epcot,
right? Or Epcot for Guardians. So yeah, it's gonna be a difficult one, Michelle. Yeah. Why they don't bring that, you know, window of hoppingness availability forward just a smidge, it would make so much difference, wouldn't it? A couple of hours, you know, make it 12:00. I mean, I know Disneyland's gone to 11, haven't they? But you know,
it would make things a lot easier, because there are going to be days where we're going to Magic Kingdom, I think something ridiculous like 5 days straight to go to Magic Kingdom first thing, and we're going to be tied till 2:00 to get into a second park.
Yeah.
So, you know, it makes sense that, we'll leave at 1:00 and give ourselves an hour to get to Animal Kingdom. And hopefully most people are leaving Animal Kingdom then, because they've done everything and the park might be a bit calmer and quieter for us.
Yeah.
Or we can head to Disney Springs. Or one of the plans I've put together, which I'm really excited about, is to go to Port Orleans French Quarter.
Oh, beignets, yeah.
Beignets. And what can you also do at French Quarter and Riverside? You can get on one of the watercrafts to go down to Disney Springs.
Yeah.
So the beignets could be my sort of like my mousse-bouche, my palate cleanser, my appetizer for heading on down to Gideon's for Death by Cake. Very
possible.
We shall see. Jane, I gather you have been looking at something rockalicious.
Yeah, Epcot Flower and Garden is starting on March the 1st, which I can't believe it's so close, actually. And of course, we've got the Food Rocks, or whatever we're calling it. Fabulous food and fresh sounds, I think Disney World are actually referring to. It's the Garden Rocks schedule of bands that me and Michelle probably have never heard of.
Well, let's go through them, Jane.
So I will go through and you can tell me whether you know what I'm talking about or not, Michelle.
Okay.
So these run on certain dates, so they're not every date throughout the Flower and Garden. So starting on the 3rd and the 4th of March, we have Journey, former lead vocalist Steve Augeri.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to
you're not
the
there
feeling.
For that, but you're not there for that. No.
I think he should change his dates. He needs to meet me.
Well, he possibly does, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that.
No.
So, March 5th and 6th is Daughtry.
Keep going, love. I ain't a clue.
10th and the 11th is Tommy DiCarlo.
Nah.
12th and 13th is Smash Mouth.
Is that going on the same line of these things now? You don't just get a burger anymore, you get a smash burger. So you don't get a singer anymore, you get a smash singer.
No, because These were around before that term was invented.
Were they? All right. I've no idea who they are, so carry on.
I should be able to tell you a song, but I can't. Anyway, March 17th and 18th, I'm going to not pronounce this right. Mike Del Guidice. Yeah, no idea. 19th and 20th is Blue Oyster Cult.
Oh my word. Don't Fear the Reaper. I love that song.
Then we're going to move on. You like the next one. 24th to 25th is Berlin.
Take my breath away.
This is just an excuse to get Michelle singing, isn't it?
It is. I'd love to see them.
Then we've got the 26th and the 27th. It's the Pointer Sisters.
I'm so excited. I wish I could see them.
And then I think we're going to go downhill again. March the 31st, we have, and I'm going to not pronounce this properly, Luis Figueroa.
Didn't he play the Incredible Hulk?
No, not that one.
Oh, okay then. Sorry.
I'm going to mispronounce the next one. On April the 1st and 2nd, we have something called Piso 21.
Well, I'm there, but I ain't going to see him.
Or them, or yeah, whatever. April the 3rd is Melina Leon.
Forward wind.
April the 7th and 8th is Starship featuring Mickey Thomas.
We built this city on rock and roll.
9th and 10th, we have Don Felder, who's formerly of the Eagles.
Boys of Summer.
Then we have on the 14th and 15th of April, Blue October. April the 16th and 17th is Switchfoot.
Okay, no idea.
No. 21st and 22nd is A Flock of Seagulls.
Now that's a nice link to Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
It is, yes. 23rd and 24th is Joe D. Messina.
Nah.
28th and 29th is Ambrosia with Peter Beckett, the voice of Player.
No idea, but Ambrosia make a lovely rice pudding.
Over here they do, yeah. 30th of April and the 1st of May is Kool and the Gang.
Oh, that'd be great.
We have Herman's Hermits featuring, or starring, I should say, Peter Noon on the 5th to the 8th of May.
We're happy together.
The 12th to the 15th of May is the orchestra starring former members of ELO.
Okay. They're obviously not allowed to use their proper name of ELO anymore.
No. 19th and 20th, we have AJ Kroc, and it's Croc plays Croak, or Kroos plays Kroos.
So that's nothing to do with our friend AJ Mills then?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is. 21st and 22nd is Casting Crowns. Again, no idea. 26th and the 27th, we have Jason Sheff, who's the longtime lead singer of Chicago.
Okay.
Moving on, 28th and 29th of May is Rick Springfield.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. June 2nd to the 5th is a Plain White Tees.
That'll be what I'm wearing, but I won't be seeing them.
The 9th and the 10th of June is the Spinners.
Oh, my dad loved the Spinners.
11th and 12th is the Commodores.
He loved them too.
16th and the 17th of June is Vertical Horizon.
No idea. That sounds like a theme park attraction.
18th and 19th is Tony Orlando.
That sounds like a place you go for pizza.
Or sounds like a lounge singer, doesn't it?
Does it?
Tony Orlando. I don't know. I'm just...
Okay.
No idea.
No offence to you, lovely. I'm sure you're very talented.
Just, we are uneducated. That's our
Yes.
problem. June the 23rd to the 26th, we have Simple Plan.
Which this trip to Walt Disney World will never be.
Never be. None of your plans are simple, Michelle.
No.
June the 30th and the 1st of July, we have Living Colour. And then we're rounding it all out on the 2nd and 3rd with Wang Chung.
Is that the Everybody Have Fun Tonight? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I know something.
Yeah, you know a few of them. So anyway, with all of this, we do have the packages. So you can go and book at certain restaurants, and therefore you're guaranteed a seat to one of the concerts on the same day. So these range from, I think the cheapest is going to be $35. These are adult prices, $35. Most expensive is going to be $95 because that's at Le Cellier. We've got Akershus for $74, Biergarten at $60, Coral Reef at $69, Garden Grill at $66, Regal Eagle is your cheapest at $35, Rose and Crown at $59, and Spice Road Table at $47. it does also say that whilst you can make these bookings in advance online, you may be able to purchase a same-day dining package, and this allows you to dine without reservations at Regal Eagle that day and enjoy guaranteed seats to Garden Rock. So that's something obviously you'd have to look at on the actual day, because it's all subject to availability.
I've got the choices then of going to see Starship or Don Felder, formerly of the Eagles. And I haven't booked dining at any of those establishments, and I think the only one that would probably tempt me would be the Regal Eagle Smokehouse at $35. I think the others, for me, it's taking it a little bit too much out of my comfort place of food. Like, it's saying it's an appetizer, entree, dessert, or one full buffet family style meal where applicable, as well as a non-alcoholic beverage. The other one that might tempt me, because we have discussed this in our little planning group about Spice Road Table, because you get 2 small plates, a shared dessert platter and a non-alcoholic drink. Well, if you work out, the small plates are probably about $15 each. The shared dessert platter, I believe off the top of my head, is $10. And a non-alcoholic drink. So that's
really good.
of, for 47, okay.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that one, yeah.
And it means I don't have to stand and queue for ages. So I think I might try one of those, Jane. And I'm just a bit disappointed. If we would have used the Crêperie place in France, I think that's one I would have gone to. I know our friend Anthony before has used Rose and Crown Dining Room.
Yes, I remember that, yeah.
But come on, let's be honest, guys. I'm a British person. I will just pull that place to bits because it's not where it needs to be for our beautiful food that we have in this country. No.
No, plus I think there's also that element of even if they were getting the food right, you don't want to go to something that you could go into down the road from home, do you? I always think when you go away on vacation, you want to be able to try things that, is not the norm, because you're on vacation. That's what you should be doing,
To this day, I have never had Chinese food in Walt Disney World because I can get it at home. So why would I go to the Nine Dragons?
Yeah,
so,
and we're very fortunate with the way that the UK is laid out. We have some very good areas of the country that provide excellent things like the Chinese and the Indian food options, don't they?
But saying that, thinking about if you were planning to have a 3-course meal at Le Cellier, that, to me, if you're looking at getting the most expensive item on the menu, which is going to be some form of a steak, and then an appetizer and a dessert and a normal beverage, you're only going to be looking at paying probably an extra $10, $15 on top of.
Well, like we've always said, though, Shell, with any of these offers, it's only going to be worth your while if you're going to actually play the system effectively and make sure that if you're going to partake of one of these deals, that you get the most bang for the buck that you can get. So yeah, great. If you wanted to go and eat at Le Cellier or wherever anyway, and so happens to be an act that you'd quite like to see, combine the two, but just make sure that you spend wisely while you're there.
Yeah, because I'll tell you now, I ain't paying $95 for any meal when I'm on holiday, because it's budget, and we'll be talking more about some budgeting ideas on our Patreon show with some of the amazing challenges that I have had set to me or set myself. And everyone else, if you're not a Patreon supporter, you will find about them after the event. But I'm sharing some of the incredibly bonkers ideas on there first. So, right, Jane, I think that covers everything we're going to talk about for this week. Apologies for my singing.
But... Well, it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? If we mention band names, it's a foregone conclusion that Michelle's going to attempt to sing. You're not that bad, love, anyway, really.
Yeah, and if a long COVID clinic are trying to get me to do online singing as a therapy for long COVID,
it's a health benefit.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's just not for the people who have to listen to me. So we're sending our love as our friends, the Wells family, are on yet another Disney adventure. They are in DLP right now as we are recording. So bear with us and we'll try and get a trip report out of Vicky when she comes back. Very exciting. Very exciting. We will be releasing yet another show next week, but you can find more about our Disney Fun Lives over on the Disney Dream Girls podcast family page on that their Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter at DisDreamGirls. You can find our website, DisneyDreamGirls.com, which you can search all the way back to show number 1 and listen to it. The other day I shared with a friend of mine some of the wonderful shows that we've been very blessed to have recorded in person with the fabulous Jim Carcass, Get Well Soon. And I've shared some shows and he really enjoyed them because some of these shows are evergreen. They never grow old. You know, the content is still very much the same as it was on the day it was recorded.
Yeah.
If you want to support us, we have a Patreon page which ensures our little old Disney podcast says advert free. You can find out more at patreon.com/Disney Dream Girls. But until next week, it's a goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.